This is Roman clay.
It looks like mud, and it's one of the hottest new interior design trends because it can give your walls a high-end and sophisticated look and a textured feel. But because Roman clay is applied with a putty knife or a trowel instead of a paintbrush, painting contractors want you to believe that this is an advanced technique that's best left to the pros.
So in this video, I'm gonna see if I can apply Roman clay to this wall here and get a professional looking result with the DIY skill set.
So here's a quick look at the wall we're gonna be transforming today with Roman clay, and as you can see, I already started repairing some of the dents and holes using some DAP Dry Deck spackle, which goes on pink and dries white. So as long as you're not colorblind, you're probably still with me. And after getting the white green light, I just sanded everything smooth using some 120 grit sandpaper, and I try to keep a shop vac next to me to keep things clean, but let's be honest, it's always a mess. And after wiping off the spackle dust, I continued with the prep work, which is the worst, but everyone's got to do it. Protect your floors and mask off anything that's important, like my overhead ceiling or the fireplace here, using some painter's tape. Next, grab the most Mickey Mouse screwdriver you can find. I think I got this from some kind of Apple product, and then be sure not to catch the faceplate when you remove it. And now we can finally start making some progress. So I'm going to take this all-purpose primer, shake that up, and then pour it into my paint tray. And I started by using a paintbrush and cutting in around all the corners and edges. And then I just grabbed my paint roller and I rolled over the rest of the wall. And as I prime this wall, let me explain what Roman clay actually is. According to the internet, Roman clay is a decorative plaster finish that's a hybrid of paint and plaster, and it's made from natural ingredients and is typically just applied to drywall just like paint. And here's a look at that wall with a fresh coat of primer on it. And while that dries, I should probably mention that I got my Roman clay from a company called Portola Paints, and they have a whole bunch of different colors, but I eventually decided on this color, La Catedral, and you'll have to be the judge if that was a good call or not. And as I alluded to before, this stuff is pretty thick. It kind of has a mud consistency, and we're just going to take some of it and start applying it to the wall using a putty knife or a trowel. And for the first coat, you want to apply it pretty thin. You just want to do a skim coat all around the primed surface. And even with this footage being sped up, it's pretty apparent that this is much slower than simply painting walls. So if you're looking for something quick, definitely just paint your walls with a nap roller. But if you want to get adventurous and you have a little bit more time on your hands for this technique, it's going to take you a bit longer, but who knows? You might like the result a whole lot better than paint. And applying the Roman clay to the open areas was super straightforward and easy. In the corners here, I'm pretty sure this is 99% more aggressive than you need to be. This is like some suppressed therapy application right here, so you can probably chill out compared to what the heck I'm doing in the corners, but you get the idea.
Okay, so we got the first coat of Roman clay on. A little bit nervous right now based on how it's looking, but I think once we get the second coat on there, we'll blend it a little bit better. Right now, fingers crossed that this turns out better after the second coat.
And if you have any ridges or rough patches after the first coat of Roman clay, grab some fine grit sandpaper and just sand everything down. Make sure that your wall is nice and smooth before you move on to that second coat of Roman clay. It's also a good idea to wipe off any dust. Here's a look at that first coat with everything sanded down. Now it's time for the second and final coat. And you're gonna apply the second coat the exact same way as the first coat, except now it's a little bit more exciting because you can start to get an idea of what the final product is going to look like. And now I'm going to show a couple seconds in real time so you can get an actual idea of what it's like to apply this product to the wall. If you've worked with drywall at all, it's very similar to kind of mudding drywall seams. It's not very difficult, it just takes time. And like a lot of things in life, less is more. You don't want to leave ridges, so just leave a fine layer of that Roman clay on, and once it dries, it'll kind of even itself out. And after 2 coats, here's what it looks like. You're really supposed to stop after 2 coats, but I decided to clean up a few of the spots I wasn't super happy with that third coat, but that really should be unnecessary. And after letting that final coat dry, I sanded everything down with some 320 grit sandpaper until it was perfectly smooth to touch. Then I gave the wall one final wipe down to get rid of any of that Roman clay dust. And after mounting this comically oversized TV, this project is all done. Let's take a quick reminder look at where we started, and here is a look at the final result. Overall, I think Roman clay has quite a lot of potential, but for this application area, I feel like it just looks okay. I'm not super happy with how this turned out. There's still a bit of cleanup work needed, especially where the drywall meets the fireplace here. So let me know your suggestions on how to fix this gap down in the comments. And since I didn't feel like this was the best application for Roman clay, I had some left over and I decided to double down and apply Roman clay to my half bath, which I'm gonna be remodeling in next week's video. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next week.